Christmas is a difficult time if you're separated from your family. So imagine what it must be like for the young mother who's been kept in an Iranian jail since April. Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe was arrested while returning home with her 2-year-old daughter after visiting her parents. She's currently serving 5 years for offences relating to national security, although the charges against her haven't been made clear. Her husband Richard, who's from Fleet in Hampshire, continues to campaign for her release. Tonight, he's taken that campaign to Downing Street. Let's join our political editor, Peter Henley, who is there for us this evening. Peter, sounds like a very festive protest behind you.
It is joyful in many ways, which is not what's in the hearts of the people singing here, right opposite the gates of Downing Street. It's a long way from here in London on a bright light with the London lights to a jail in Iran. That's where Nazanin is at the moment in solitary confinement, we think, but many of her family have made a trek up from Hampshire today to raise awareness, because what they really want is that the case will be raised by the government and that the Iranians will bring her back to Britain. As Laura Trant reports, there's a growing campaign.
Christmas is the time of year for friends and family, which is why today, on the last Monday before Christmas, friends and family of Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe have joined forces to raise awareness about her plight in an Iranian jail. And they're doing that by Right for Rights. They're writing her letters of support, which she may or may not receive in jail.
It's a message of solidarity and is in conjunction with Amnesty International.
At the moment, she's not very well at all. She's lost a lot of weight, a lot of strength, a lot of hair. Very down. She's back in solitary confinement.
She's a British citizen, and that's what we can't understand as a family, why she's been left. It feels like she's been left to hang out to dry for the last 9 months with very little British consular support. And I understand the British government's reasons behind that, but it still feels like they're using it as an excuse. She's a British citizen, as a British child. We just feel she should be home by now with us.
So today is a peaceful protest against a frustrating process.
We weren't expecting this much support, and it just helps lift our spirits, it helps drive this campaign. Without the local support, our campaign wouldn't get off the ground.
Nazanin, who is a British-Iranian charity worker, was arrested in Iran in April while she was at an airport with her daughter Gabriella. They'd been on holiday visiting relatives. Her family says they don't know exactly why she's been jailed, only it's a matter of national security, which they say is absurd. Nazanin's 38th birthday is on Boxing Day, a birthday that's likely to be behind bars, unless her family's one Christmas wish comes true. Laura Trant, BBC South Today in Fleet.
A lot of the messages on those placards addressed to Boris Johnson, the Foreign Secretary, and some of them quite touching. Auntie Naz, get her home. The government is saying, of course, that publicity could actually cause problems. They want to deal with this in a low-key way. Richard Ratcliffe, if I can get him away from the supporters here, Nazanin's husband. Now, in some ways, it could be damaging, couldn't it? Everybody's protests could rile the Iranians.
No, I don't think so. I think the fact that everyone is just showing how much they care and the fact that they want Nazanin home, that's a very understandable reaction from us, and a very understandable reaction that, you know, Iran is a good family nation in many ways. They'll understand it, and they'll understand that we're right. It is an intolerable situation, and it needs to end as soon as possible.
Is there any sense that things are moving at all?
Certainly with this, we've been overwhelmed by the momentum here. I think it's hard to read in Iran what's happening. There is this sort of movement about whether Gabriella should have to move into prison or not, which wasn't quite clear. There's also going to be an appeal date in January, so that might tell. We live in hopes of having her back for Christmas, in which case, you know,
23,000 letters, is that right, sent by Amnesty International?
26,000 now.
26,000 now. They're sitting in a room somewhere. That makes a difference, you think, just the volume of them?
And just the fact that people care and they're writing, and yes, that, you know, the authorities know that they're being watched, and that people care about Nazanin, and in the end that will make a difference.
OK, Richard, thank you very much for your time. The protest will be continuing here this evening. Some of the Twitter messages apparently are getting through, even if the letters aren't. They've provoked quite a reaction in Iran. Sally.
Peter, thanks very much.